everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to do the chapter on index numbers. I know so many of you have already done it in the 11th and 12th. So it will be you will have fun today, right? Okay, so today I think we will do it the other way around. You tell me, okay? You teach me this. So good afternoon, Nikita, Suryakumari, Pramod. Pramod, you were not there last time and we missed you. Anand Kumar, Shreya, Ayushi, Natasha, Rabish, Dimple, Gangotri, Mehek. Okay, a very good afternoon to all of you. Okay. Now, can you quickly tell me what index numbers are? Yes, can you put it in the chat box? What index numbers are? And yes, I wanted to show you something. See, many times you feel, why are we studying regression, correlation, index numbers, all those chapters, we really think we don't know why we are doing it. So let me show you something. The blog that person has written about, see, what has he written? Trading strategies for the Nifty 500 index. Means what? Share market using logistic and linear regression. Okay. So here the author is trying to tell you that he's saying what linear regression is one of the simplest form of machine learning techniques. Okay. And logistic regression is another type of machine learning techniques, which estimates the probability of an event taking place or not on a set of binary independent variables. Okay. So these are techniques. So can you see that this is a practical application? So in data mining also, then logistic regression model he's shown. So this is one of the examples or one of the places where you're using in regression and correlation. I would also like to show you this. Okay, I'll show you. So this is the website of United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, FAO. You studied in civics, remember? So here, see what they're talking about. They're talking about prices, okay, and they're talking about movement in agricultural commodity prices and food prices are indicators of change in the fundamentals of demand and supply. So wherever we are, like even in India, we do that. The government will do. It will see what is the production, what is the yield of the food crops. Then they will see what is the demand, whether or not the supply is enough for the demand. If not, then they will import the food grains. And what is the inflation? How is inflation affecting the prices of the food grains? Or how are the prices of other things like fertilizers, power, etc. affecting the cost of the food grains? Okay. So they help to monitor, analyze. Here you can see they help to monitor, analyze and disseminate food prices data. Okay. This is done by what? This is done using index numbers. Okay. So you can see here, I'll just increase the size. Okay. We want to concentrate on this. See, FAO food price index. Okay. So we are going to study price index today. So price index, quantity index, value index. So you can see here. What is it saying? It is a measure of the international prices for a basket of traded agricultural commodities. Means what? They have selected some goods and they are studying the prices, change of the prices of those goods. It consists of the average of 5 commodity group price indexes. Okay. And so then they have data on domestic prices, so agricultural producer prices and producer price index. So what I want to show you is this. See, you can have it monthly, you can have it quarterly, you can have it annually. Then you can even compare the wholesale prices and the retail prices. Then you have the consumer price index. Okay, so you have the retail price, you have the wholesale price, and then you also have the consumer price. And all these things are studied and analyzed by the statistics division, and then comment on the food price volatility is taking place. Excuse me. Okay. And you can have this thing like in this you can see that it is a measure of the monthly change in the international price of a basket. Then you can have FAO food price index, cereal price index. Okay. So like in the cereal price, what have we done is that we are talking about rice, maize, barley, wheat. Okay, we are studying that. Then you can even have vegetable oil price index. Okay, so where we are studying the prices of palm oil, soya, okay, palm, soya, food, plus sunflower, etc. Then dairy. Okay, then meat in price index, sugar price index. So those things that we consume on a daily basis, they have shown. So okay, and this is the common graph that they have shown. So here you can see what is how the price of sugar change. You can see here. Let me open this in a new tab. Okay. Okay, so here you can see how the price, you are talking about commodity price indices. So sugar you can see is nearly in the same region. The meat prices, the variation is not so much, but can you see vegetable oil prices? It is, there has been a huge change. This change is because of the Ukraine war, Russia-Ukraine war, okay, because sunflower, the oils, edible oils were a major exports of Ukraine. So that's why. Then you can see the cereal prices, then the dairy prices. Okay, so what is in the country, the prices have been quite stable compared, the volatility is less compared to that of the vegetable oil. And can you see here that they are saying 2014 to 2016, they have taken the base as 100. And using that 100 as the base price, then they are comparing these prices. So keeping the price of 2014 to 16 as the base year price as 100. And then they are talking about when I compare to that, so compared to 100 now, say suppose in January of 2022, my price of meat was 116, say, okay, because it's below 119. Whereas the price of vegetable oil was 187. Okay, so this is the comparative. So you have taken the base price as 100 and then comparing that, you are marking the this thing. Okay, so this, when you are studying, don't think of it only for passing of the exam. You have to think about, oh, these are the wonderful jobs I can do, this is the wonderful work I can do. So if you keep that in mind, you will understand the problem also better, and then you will be able to do that. Okay. Yes, Komal, Samina, Khalid, Muhajid, Shruti. Yes, good afternoon to all of you. Okay. Yes, Dimple, good noon. Yes. Okay. So we are talking about index numbers. There are index number for many things, but according to our syllabus and what is important for us as chartered accountants is, we are going to talk about the price index, we're going to talk about the quantity index, and we are going to talk about the value index. Okay, so these are the various indexes that we are going to study. So what is index number? Index number is that we take 1 year information as the base year, and with that we compare the current year prices, current year maybe prices, quantity, values. Okay, so we compare them. Okay, and this is represented by index numbers. It is very widely used in statistics, and for we saw just now, to determine how the prices are changing. They are also used to decide on the rate of taxes whether the rate of tax applicable is less, more, what are the factors that are affecting the prices. Okay, so all this is studied by user index numbers. So according to this, we are studying what are the issues involved in the index numbers. What are the types of index number? Price index numbers, quantity index number, and value index number. These are the three we are going to study. Then construction of index numbers, then chain index numbers. So using these, you can go in for the chain index numbers. Usefulness of the index number. So you can use this in deflation, deflating, and splicing. Okay, so we are going to study that also. And which index number is good for the particular data? There are 4 tests that we can do to determine that. First is the unit test, second is the times reversal test, third is the factor reversal test, and the circular test. So usually circular test is quite popular for the exam point of view. So, but we'll be doing all 4. Okay, so important thing you need to remember is the types of index numbers are price index number, quantity index number, and value index number. Okay, and we are going to study concepts like deflating and splicing. Okay. Yes, Komal. Yes, Swati. Good afternoon. Yes. Okay. Yes, Pramod. It is the last. No, it's the second last class. Okay. We have a class on Saturday also. Yes. Thank you. You're going to miss me. I'm going to miss all of you. Right? It's been such a good batch, lovely batch. Okay. So today and day after, we will be having another session on index numbers, and then that will be the last chapter for your preparation. Okay. Yes. Yes, Aditya. Good afternoon. So index numbers are used to measure. Used to measure the relative changes. Okay, it is used to measure the relative changes and differences from time to time or place to place, one of which is the base time period. So either you can have T0 and then that is the base time, and then T1. Okay. So we are going to measure relative changes. So what changes we are going to measure? We are going to measure in price, quantity, and value. Okay. The value of the base time period serves as a standard point of comparison. It is called as standard point of comparison. This is especially used in NSC BSc. So like we take one point as the base price of a share of Reliance, and then we compare what is the price relative to that base price. Okay, so whether there has been upward movement or downward movement will depend on the base that we have taken. Okay, index numbers is a ratio where, so what is that? It is a ratio where 2 or more time periods are involved. Okay, so we are saying that index number is a ratio where 2 or more time periods are involved. So the one period is called as a base period, and the second is the current period. Okay, current period that we are trying to study. In regression analysis, either dependent or independent or both variables may be used in the form of index numbers. Okay, so that is why these two chapters are so closely connected. So as you saw in regression, when we when we drew the lines of regression, okay, the on the graph, that time we took the actual values. So you can even use the indices and make that regression line, and then using that regression line, you can forecast what is going to happen in the future. Okay, so that you can do by using index numbers. So index number and regression combined, you can use it. So as I was saying, it is used in forecasting. Okay, so suppose price of some commodity is 120 right now. So I want to know what will the price in say 2024. What will the price be? Okay, and how do I do that? I study the previous years. I study the trend in the prices, and then using that price index, I'm able to predict. So that is why it is used in forecasting. Index numbers are of two types, simple as well as composite. When do we say it is simple? When there is one variable involved, and when more than one variable, that is two or more, then we say it is a composite. Okay. So let us now see the uses of index numbers. Framing suitable policies in economics and businesses. They provide guidelines to make decision in measuring intelligence quotient, research, etc. Give me a minute, I'll just use a So it is used in framing suitable policies in economics and business. Like when you make IQ, then you're doing any research. So using that research, we able to decide on the syllabus to be done, made questions to be made. Okay, they reveal trends and tendencies in making important conclusion in cyclical forces and irregular forces. Okay, so when I see the price index, okay, I study the price index, and I will study its volatility. I will study the volatility of the price. Then I will find out the factors. I will find out the factors due to which there is this volatility. Okay, so when I just see a price, I may not know, I may not be able to give a, or it will not be visible as such. But when I compare it, okay, when I compare it to the price, base year price, then it becomes more meaningful. Okay, for example, if I say that a box of cheese is costing 300 rupees, and whereas a box of butter is costing me 50 rupees, can I compare 50 with 300 rupees? Absolutely no, because what if I want to see which is how this is moving, I have to compare the price of cheese, today's price of cheese, with the price of cheese in the earlier year. What was it last year and what is it this year? Okay, similarly for butter. And suppose, like, I'm trying to see what is the change in price of butter and that of iPhone. So again, the comparison will not hold as such or will not give you enough information. But if you compare the price of iPhone in say maybe 20, like before this thing, in say 2010, then in 2015, then this thing now pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, so then it will give you the trend and tendencies, like are people buying iPhones, okay, if they are, with what is the age group of the people who are buying iPhones, okay, So all those things will come. So we will be able to make those comparisons using the index numbers. They are important in forecasting future economic activity. Okay, so we are talking about here 10 trends. Okay, so first is policies, then we are talking of trends, and then we are saying forecasting of. Okay, this is especially useful while we are doing valuation also, while making budgets also. Okay, how much raw material will be required, so what is the change in the price of the raw material, so should we increase the price of our final product, so all this will depend on this. They are also useful for deflating. That is, they are used to adjust the original data for price changes and thus transform nominal wages into real wages. Okay, so this is an important thing. Cost of living index numbers measures changes in the cost of living over a given period. Okay, like your grandparents must be saying that we used to get groundnuts, moongfali at 10 paisa, but now it is 100 rupees per kg. So this comparison, so cost of living has increased, and so how much has the cost of living increased, and whether or not the price of groundnuts has increased in the same change as the cost of living, or has it had a different effect. Okay, so all these things we are going to study. Okay. Okay, so now we are going to once you've understood what index numbers are, then so when we are solving the problems, you will be able to do it well. So there are two methods of computing the index. One is the simple method and one is the weighted method. Simple method, you have two types, aggregative and relative, and weighted also you have aggregative and relative. Yes, I mean, I will also miss you. So the first method of computing index is the simple aggregate method. Okay, so it is a simple aggregate method. What it does is it says what is the current price. Add all the current prices. Summation PN means what? Add all the current prices of all the goods that you have, and then divided by the prices of all these goods for a base year. Okay, for a base year, and then multiply it by 100. Okay, so you have to compute the price index in a simple aggregated method, that you add all the prices of the current year and divide it by the addition of all the prices of the base year into 100. Now, what is this is important theory question. Advantages, it's very easy to understand. You just take the prices, add them up, take the prices of the current year, add them up, and divide them by the base year. Okay, but the disadvantage is that an item with the higher price exert greater influence. If units are changed, index numbers will also change. Okay, so that, suppose, like they're taking the example forward, if I'm saying that butter is at 60 rupees and I'm saying that cheese is at 300 rupees, then what I have to do, this is for the base year, and now it is 75 and this is 350. So what will I do? This is my base year price and this is my current year price. So I will add this, I get 360, and I will add this, I will get 425. Okay. So what will happen is these are prices. Okay, these are prices, and we have added them up. And then when I divide 425 by 360, how much will I get? 200 is how much? Yeah, 425 upon 360. Into 100. 8.05. Yes. Can anybody give me the answer? Yes, very good, Dimple Samina. Yeah, the answer is 118, because we have to multiply by 100 also. Okay? Yes, 1.18. Yeah, write it into 100, which is equal to 118.06. Okay, so it is easy to calculate, but what happens, the price with the higher value, the higher price is going to exert greater influence. What is the change in price over here? This is 50 rupees. Okay, what is the change in price of cheese? Is 50 upon 300 into 100. How much is this? Yes, how much is this? Yes, Anmol. 16.67%. What is the change in the price of butter? Change in price of butter is equal to 15 upon 60. So 15 divided by 60 is equal to 25%. Okay, so here we can see that the change in the price of cheese is going to affect the change in the price of cheese. Okay, very good. Okay, can we see the total change in price? Total change. If I'm only talking about the change, that is 425 minus 360. 425 minus 360 is 65 divided by how much is this? 360. 65 divided by 360. So total change is 18.05%. Okay. So why that has happened is because change in the price of cheese, because cheese had a higher price, so it will exert greater influence. Okay. So advantage of simple aggregate method is it is easy to understand, but the disadvantage is the items with higher price are going to influence more. Now let us see what the simple aggregate of relatives means. Okay. These are always advantages because they do not have an index. In the simple aggregate method, if you change the unit, not index, change the units, then your price index is going to change. But simple aggregate of relatives, because we are using a ratio, the advantage is that it is independent of units. Okay. So here the actual price is inverted as a percentage of base period, and index number is average of all relatives. So these are pure numbers, so independent of units, and but disadvantages Undue weightage is again given to commodities used in smaller quantities. Okay. So both the simple aggregate method and simple aggregate of relative method, you can use that just to get a fair idea of how your items under consideration are moving, with what is happening to the price. Okay, so all that you can do as a simple overall, just to get a just general understanding. But if you want to study it deeper, then you will use other methods. Okay. Okay. For example, let us do this. Excellent. Anmol, see what is happening here, that many times you want to know how the prices are changing, how the quantities are changing, and how much the values are changing. You remember in economics how we study what is the demand for the goods, okay, what is the relation between demand and supply, isn't it? You remember that? So similarly here we are studying, what we are trying to study is, if something, there is a change in price, okay, how much is the change, and we are studying it over time. Okay, so I will take 1 year as a base year, I will take the values for that year, and then I will take the current period and compare the current year period with the base year. What am I going to compare? I may compare prices, I may compare quantities, and I may compare values. Okay, like prices. For example, take a bottle of say any soft drink. Okay, so how much was it for, so 250 milliliters of the small one, how much was it for 5 years back? Take that price as the base price. Okay, so maybe at that time it was 10 rupees, and now you see the price today it is 15 rupees. So what is happening is, for the same quantity, it's a 250 ml bottle, now the price has changed to 15. Now I want to see what is the quantity sold. Now, because I can see there is a change in price, I also study what is the quantity sold. So if I have a shop which is selling soft drinks, so for me this comparison is so important, because it is going to tell me about the turnover of my company. Okay, so that is why we study this. So using this information, I can forecast my profits 5 years down the line. If the prices are changing this much, how much is it affecting my quantity? Okay, and how much is it affecting my value? So that is why we are studying this. Okay, Anmol, I hope you've understood. Okay, simple relative again, Dimple, yes. So here the actual price is inverted as a percentage of the base period. Okay. So we are taking the base period, and then we are using it. So index number is average of all relatives. So what will happen is, this is just the invert. Once we do the sums, I think that will be much better. Just this is given to you for you to understand that when I calculate aggregate of relatives, it will not have a unit, and so it is independent of units, and so any changes will not be like, it will be incorporated. So whatever disadvantage of the simple price index is, we are trying to avoid that using the simple aggregate of relatives. Okay. Okay. Suppose I have this. The population of Maharashtra in 2020 was this much, 41 lakhs. And for Uttar Pradesh, it was 1 crore 23 lakhs. What is the population index of Maharashtra compared to Uttar Pradesh? Okay. So here, like we said earlier, that we can have time comparisons, or you can have location comparisons. Okay. This is just a simple example. So we have taken location. So what will it be? What is the population index. What will that be? Population of Maharashtra in 2020 divided by population of UP in 2020 into 100. So can anybody tell me the answer? Yes, Anmol, you understood? Very good. So what will this be? Forty-one, 96, 400 upon 1, 2, 3, 9, 2, 700 into 100. Yes, Swati? 33.86, Dimple? Okay, excellent. Swati, Dimple, Shreya, Aditya, 33.86. Okay. So this is an example of a simple index. Pramod, Surya Kumari, Ayushi, Shreya. Yeah. Okay, suppose like here I have the prices. So what does the simple aggregate say? Suppose a cheese per 100 gram was 12 rupees, eggs per piece was 3 rupees, potato per kg was 5. So what this mean is, I wrote the answer. The simple aggregate says that just you add these prices. Okay, so these are prices. So 12 plus 2, 15, 15 plus 5, 20. Okay, so this is 20. Then the price in 1990 is given as 15, 3.66. So I add them up and I get 24.6. And here, how much will this be? 15.6. So 5 plus 3, 8 and 9, 9. Oh, this is also 24.6. Now, what will be the price index here? What will be the price index? It will be the price of the current year. It will be the price aggregate of the current year, that is summation of Pn upon summation of P0 into 100. What is summation of Pn? What is the addition of prices? This is equal to 24.6. And what is the summation P0? That is 20. Okay, into 100. So how much is this? 20. 24.6 divided by 20. 24.6, that is 123. Okay, so this is 123. What will happen over here? This amount has come to the same. So 24.6 upon 20 into 100. So this the price index is 123. So if I make a table, this is for 1998. Then 1999 and 2000. And if I put in the price indexes, so this is 100, this is 123, and this is 123. Okay. So I hope you've understood the simple calculation. Yes. Yes, Anmol, very good. You got the answer. Yes, Baba said, Pramod, Muhajid, Shreya, Ayushi, Anmol, Dimple, Swati, Suryakumari. Yes, very good. So, we have talked about the simple, aggregative, and relative. Now we are going to talk about weighted, aggregative, and relative. Okay. The more sums you do, they will have a fair idea, and then tomorrow we will do n number of sums on this. Okay. So any doubts that you have, those will be clear. Yes. Yes, Aditya. Okay. Then price of each commodity is weighted by a suitable factor. So here what will happen is that weighted method is used. So in what happens with weighted method, price of each commodity is weighted by a suitable factor, so that we are not like in the earlier case we added the price of cheese with butter. But if I feel that butter is consumed more or has more importance, then I will give it a better weight, more weight, and the things that are consumed less will be given lesser weight. Okay. So in that you have the weighted average of relatives. So weighted average of relative method, to overcome the disadvantage of simple average method, we use weighted. Generally weighted is used, although the weighted arithmetic mean. So we are going to use arithmetic mean, but you can also use the geometric mean. And how do you arrive at this? We say that this is equal to weighted average method is summation Pn Qn upon summation P0 Q0 into 100. Now, what is Pn? Pn is the current price. What is Pn? Pn is the current price. What is Qn? Qn is the present quantity. What is P0 price? P0 is the price of the base year, and Q0 is the price of the Q0 is the quantity of the base year. Okay. So that suppose I'm comparing something that happened in 2000 with something that has happened in 222. So this will be my base year and this will be my current year. This will be, the price here will be P0, the price here will be Q0, the price here will be Pn, and the quantity here will be Q. Okay. So advantage is that it overcomes disadvantage of the simple average of relative method. Generally, arithmetic mean is used. Okay, so and that is, then we have weighted aggregate method, weighted average and weighted aggregate. Okay, we'll be doing this just simple comparison. So here I divide the price with the price here. Okay, I think I forgotten to write the 100. Okay. So what will happen for 1998? You can see this amounts are for 1998. So I will 12 divided by 12 into 100 is how much? 100. Then here 3 divided by 3 into 100 is 100. And here it is 5 divided by 5 into 100, which is 100. Now let us see what happens when we go to 1999. Pn. What is this now? This is Pn. This is Pn and this is P0. So Pn, the price will be compared with whom? With the price in 1998. So it will be 15 upon 12. 15 upon 12 into 100 is equal to how much? Then how much is this? 3.6 upon 3 into 100 is how much? And 6 upon 5 into 100 is how much? Similarly, we make for 2000, year 2000, this is 15.6 upon 12 into 100. Then we have 3.3 upon 3 into 100. And here we have 5.7 upon 5 into 100. Yes, can I get the values? Yes, Shreya, you can calculate for any particular year that you want. Okay, so especially nowadays, there is so much of research going on about how values have changed, how the costs have changed, how the prices have changed pre-pandemic and post-pandemic. So, how much has the pandemic affected? So, that also they have done. So, can I get this answer? Yes, Dimple is saying 125, 120, 120. That is for 1999. 125, 120, 120. Okay. Yes, Amina. 120. Pramod is saying 125. Yes, very good. Samina, which is 130? 6 upon 5. 6 upon 5 is 1.2, no? 6 divided by 5. Yes, 1.2. So, can you tell me for the year 2000 also? Okay, Samina, very good. You're telling the next one. Great. 130. This is 110. And this is 114. Swati, yes. Samina, yes. Anmol, excellent Anmol. Ayushi, very good. Yes, Anmol, excellent. Ayushi, yes. See, now when, can you see yourself here? That when I'm saying 12, 15, 15.6, I am not able to judge how much it has changed. But when I compare like this, I can see the trend. Okay, 100 went to 125, 1 to 130. So the prices of cheese has suddenly increased. What happens to eggs? It increased drastically, 100 to 120, and then it came down. Okay. Then potatoes, 100 to 120, and then it came down. I don't know in which year that has happened, because since any time that I can remember, the prices have already risen. Okay. Now let us multiply price with the quantity. Okay. So what will happen with price and the quantity? Here it is, price is 12 rupees, quantity is 200 grams. This is 12 rupees per 100 grams. So this will become 24. Then here what will happen? This has become 1990. Okay, 3 into 12, 36. And then here it is 5 into 2, that is 10. Okay. And then I add the 3. So this becomes 3, 6, 70. And this again, then similarly we can do it for here and here. And then we can find out the ratios, that is values in 1999 compared to the values in 1998. Okay. So these give you 3 columns are giving you the price index, and this is giving you the value index. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm a little unwell today. Baba said, what is the 10,000? Mehak 12 upon 12 year 2000. No, where have I written 2000? I have written only in 1998. Okay, same year, because I'm comparing the base year prices with the base year. So at that time you will get 100 over here, but nowhere else will you get. Yes, vertical. Your answer is visible. That's why I'm asking you. Why have you written 10,000 first? Okay. So this is the way you have to then do, and then you can find the index. Okay. So what is the total? 24 plus 36 plus 10. Okay. 24 plus 36 plus 10 is 24 plus 36 plus 10. 70. Then you can find it for this and then compare and then write the answer. Okay, so you can do this totally also. Okay, so this is price and this is value. Yes, Swati, very good. Swati. Majid, किसका आंसर है वो? 140. ओके, आगे वाला किया क्या? Yeah, very good, very good. Let me check. Because once you know this concept clear, then the solving will become very easy. Okay. Now these are the four things that are very important in terms of calculation. The first is known as the weighted aggregate index. So first in the weighted aggregate index is the last price, then you have the Paasche, and then you have the Marshall Edward, and then you have the Fisher's ideal price index. Okay, these are the four we will be studying: last pair, Paasche, Marshall Edward, and Fisher. Okay, now what you have to just as a trick, I will tell you. When we are talking of last pair, it means we are talking about quantity. And what is this quantity we are talking about? We are talking about the base year quantity. Okay. When we are talking about Paasche, we are talking about quantity, but we are talking about the current year quantity. Okay. So we have to remember LOPN. Okay. So you can remember it anyhow you want, but this is what we usually do. What about Marshall Edward? Marshall Edward says that, okay, don't each value has a meaning. So what they say, we take the average. Okay, Q0 plus Q. Okay, so they are trying to use the average and make the calculations. Okay, so last price uses base year prices, base year quantities. Paasche uses the current year quantities, and then Marshall Edward uses average. Okay. So what is happening? It uses the base year quantity so that the comparison becomes more useful. Okay. So that when you see that there is a change in the price index, what it implies is this is totally because of the change in the price. Because we are saying that what does the last price mean? Anything. Like suppose I have a bar of chocolate. Okay, so this bar of chocolate in the year 2020 was valued at this. The same bar of chocolate, if it is bought in the year 2022, it is for so much rupees. Okay, like it was for 10 rupees and now it has become 12 rupees. So what is happening? I can compare them easily. Why? Because my base quantity is same. Same chocolate. How much is it? Was it 5 years back and how much is it today? So that is what last pair is doing. Okay. But what happens is because I'm considering only that, I'm not considering the quantity, I don't know what the change in the pattern of selling has become or the buying pattern has become. Because there is a 2 rupees rise in the price of the chocolate, I don't know whether people have still buying the same quantity or buying lower quantity or buying higher quantity. Okay, I don't know that. So that even though it is advantageous because it is using this quantity, but the problem the same quantity in both years of comparison, but a disadvantage is that we are not studying the buying patterns. Okay, let us go to the Paasche. Okay, Paasche is saying that you have to use current year quantities. Okay, Paasche is saying current year prices you are considering. So current, so it will give you what are the current buying patterns that are there. But here we cannot attribute change in the price index only to the prices. Okay, there may be other underlying factors. Like we just now saw that the price of edible oil has gone up drastically. Now what happens is it only due to the current buying position? No. Sometimes what happens, like in this case, we are ready to buy, but the thing was not available. For example, Mahindra launched its SUV. Okay, so big SUV, and it had a waiting of more than 6 months. Why that was happening is because the chip that is put in that car was imported from Hong Kong, and then because of that conditions over there, the delivery of that chip was delayed. Okay, so here I have to see that what is the current year price, and obviously because of that the prices also went up. So we have to, but here what is happening is the change in the price was not only due to change in the price index, was not wholly due to change in the price of the material, but it may be due to some other reason. Like in this case, due to short supply, or in case like suppose your buyer is located in the Ukraine-Russia zone, then again things are going to affect. Okay. Okay, I think we should take a break right now and then we come back in 10 minutes time and then we do the other Marshall Edward and then we do the sums. Welcome back. We are talking about this. Okay, so first we have talked about what? We are talking about Laspire. Then we are talking about Paasche, then Marshall, Edward, and Fisher. Okay, these are important in terms of your exam. So all you have to remember here is when I'm talking about Laspire, I must remember that we are talking about quantities of the base year. When we are talking about past day, we are talking about quantities of the current year. Okay, when we are talking about Marshall Edward, it is talking about the average. Okay, average quantities. So if I have that in my mind, I will not make any mistake. And what is Fisher? Fisher is just the geometric mean of both Laspire and Pasche's indices. Okay, so this is what you have to remember. So let us see Laspire. Okay. So what is Laspire saying? It is saying that Laspire index is equal to summation of price of the current year into quantity of the base year. I multiply that and then I find the summation and divided by price of the base year into quantity of the base year. So this is price and quantity of the base year. Here in the numerator, it is price of the current year into quantity of the base year into 100. Okay. Now, so what is Laspire doing? It is using the base year quantity, so makes the comparison more meaningful. So changes in the price index is attributable to the changes in the price. Okay. How the index is changing is directly because of the change in the price. It, however, does not consider the buying pattern. It does not consider the buying pattern. Okay. Whether or not people are buying more or buying less, that is not, that information you do not get from Laspire. So you even have what is known as the Paasche index. Here Paasche is saying what? What is the Paasche index? Paasche index is Paasche price index is saying that it is summation. You add what? The current price into the current quantity divided by the base year price with the current quantity. So here Paasche is saying use only the current quantity. So P and QN will give you the amount I have spent in the current year. And this in the denominator is saying if the prices had been old, how much amount would I have spent? So P0 QN into 100. So what does Paasche do? It uses the current quantity. So highlights current buying pattern. So it highlights. So what is the advantage? It highlights the current buying prices. But due to this, we cannot attribute the changes in the price index to changes in price only. So you have to study more to understand why the prices have changed. Okay. Laspire, you can easily just looking at the values, you can know whether the change is there due to the price, but that does not happen with Paasche. Now, Marshall Edwards index. So what we do here is we take the average. Okay, so Marshall Edwards price index is equal to summation of price of the current year into addition of quantity of the base year with quantity of the current year. So you add those quantities and multiply it with the price of the current year. And here it is summation of price of the base year into quantity of the base year plus quantity of the current year into 100. Okay. So this is how you get the Marshall Edwards. And what does Fisher say? Fisher's ideal price index says that nothing. You just have to find the geometric mean of Laspire and Paasche. What is Laspire saying? Laspire says that you use only the base year quantity. So summation Pn Q0 upon summation P0 Q0 into what does Paasche says? Use the current quantity. So this will be summation Pn Qn upon summation P0 Qn. Okay. So this will give you the Fisher's price index. Okay. Okay. Are you following now? Yes. And then we have the weighted method. So where we are talking about the quantity index numbers and we are talking about the Fisher's, the same thing for quantity. Okay. Just let us first do this thing. Let me take an example. Suppose I found the indices, okay? Suppose I found the indexes as 120, 132, 98, 115, 108, and 95. What I do in weighted is I give them weights, okay? I say that this A quantity is, the A item is more important than say the E. So to E, I have given the weight as 1, but to A, I have given it as 6. Okay. So what I do, I multiply the index with the weight. So how much will I get here? This is 120 into 6. So how much is this? 720. 132 into 3. So 396. What will I get here? Plus 98 into 4 is 392. And plus 115 into 2 is this much. And plus 108 into 1 is this much. Plus 95 into 4 is this much. So I will now get the general index I will get is, I will add these things up. So plus 720 plus 396 plus 392 plus 230 plus 108 plus 380. Okay. Now, what is the total weights that I have? Total weights is 6 plus 3 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1 plus 4. How much is that? 20. So general index will be this upon 20. Okay. This upon 20. So how much is this? Plus this divided by 20. So you get a general index of 111. So when suppose I even get the group index, but I want to give have weighted index. So in that case, for every index, I will assign a weight, and then I will find the group weighted index. So what is the group weighted index here is 111. Okay, are you following this now? Yes, very good, Pramod Aditya. Very good. Okay, so next is this one. This is P0, this is Q0, this is P1, and this is Q1. Okay, so this is the base here. Okay, and these two is the current year. Okay, okay. So now what happens is, and this is Q0 plus Q. Now what does, you can see this. Okay. Now what we do here is concentrate on these four. Okay. I should have written them earlier. Now what I do, I multiply the base year price with the base year quantity. I multiply the base year price with the current quantity. I multiply the current price with the base quantity, and I multiply the current price with the current quantity. Okay. So what is my P0? P0 here is 7 multiplied by Q0, 70. Okay. So this is giving me 119 rupees I have spent on 17 units of something, of the product A. Okay. Then for B, how much am I spending? 23 into 6. So 138. For C, it is 14 into 11. And for this, it is 10 into 4. Okay. And then I find the summation. So what is summation P0 Q0? It is plus 119 plus 138 plus 154 plus 40. Okay. P0 Q1. So P0, the price I will take the old, but quantity I will take the new ones. So old price into current quantity plus old price into current quantity plus old price into current quantity plus old price into current quantity. And then I will find the addition. 175 plus 150 plus 165 plus 32. Now P1 Q0 means current price and old quantity. Current price is 13 into old quantity is 17 plus current price into old quantity plus current price into old quantity plus current price into old quantity. Okay. Again, what is the total? This plus this plus this plus this. Okay. Now I will see how much would I have spent today. Okay. Current price, current quantity plus current price into 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 current quantity. How much is that? 325 plus 175 plus 195 plus 64. Okay. Now what I do is Q0 plus Q1. I add the two quantities, old quantity plus new quantity. So old quantity plus new quantity plus old quantity plus new quantity plus old quantity plus new quantity plus old quantity plus new quantity. Okay. Now to this, I multiply the current price. To this addition of two quantities, I multiply the current price. So addition multiplied by the current price plus addition multiplied by the current price plus addition multiplied by the current price plus addition multiplied by the current price. And what will be the total? This plus this plus this plus this. Okay. Now let us multiply this addition with the old price. So this addition is how much? 42 multiplied by the old price is 7. This addition multiplied by the old price, this much. Addition multiplied by the old price 11 plus addition multiplied by the old price 4. Now what is this total? This plus this plus this plus this. Okay. So you have this, right? Now what we have to do? We can now find LRS, Paasche, Marshall-Edwards, and the last is Fisher. Okay. What does last pair say? Last pair says that I will use the old quantity. Okay. So can you tell me which column? divided by which column? Suppose I give the numbers to this column. This is column number 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Now, okay. Can you see here? We put it over here also. Now, what does last pair say? Last pair says current quantity. That is, you are talking about this thing. Okay. I took the wrong picture. This is the picture we need. This is quantity. We are talking about the weighted average price indexes. So let me take this. Okay, so what does last pair say? Take the old quantity, multiply it in the numerator with the current price. In the denominator, multiply it with the old price. So we have Pn Qn upon P0 Q0. Where is my Pn means P1, P1 Q0. This is my P1 Q0. So Laplace price index will be how much? P1 Q0 upon P0 Q0. Okay, P1 Q0 is this much. Okay, so P1 Q0 is how much? This much. P1 Q0 is 644 divided by into 100. Okay, into 100 upon what? P0 Q0. P0 Q0 is this much. Okay, so I get this as 142.8. So similarly, can you tell me what will be the Paasche's? Can you tell me what will be the Paasche's price index? Yes. What is Paasche's price index saying? It is Pn Qn upon P0 Q0. Qn. So can anybody quickly calculate for me? Excellent. Aditya, Pramod. Yeah, very good. Very good. Yes, base quantity is used, Aditya. Samina, very nice. P1 Q0 upon P0 Q0. Yes, very good. Dimple, last pair you are saying is 142.9, where 79. Excellent. Yes. Very good. Aditya, Pramod, Samina. Yeah. Surya Kumar. Yeah. Can you get me the Paasche's price index? Paasche is saying Pn Qn upon P0 Qn. Pramod, Surya Kumar, you are saying Paasche is 145.4. Let us see. P1 Q1 divided by P0 Qn. P0 Qn. So yes, into 100. Excellent work. Now similarly, can you find out? Yes, Vadekar. Yes, very good. Shreya, you've got. Can we now find Marshall Edward? Marshall Edward price index? Yes, Marshall Dimple is saying it is 144.19. So it is P1 into plus P1 into this thing. So 1489 star 100 divided by P0 and 144.19. Yes, very good, Aditya. Yes, Anmol, now you are understanding? Okay? Yes. Others quickly write down the answer so that I know that you've understood how to do the calculation. Yes, Dimple, very good. Aditya Wadikar, Samina, yes, Aditya, Surya Kumari, Pramod. So, this is how you are supposed to solve this. Okay? So, once you, so as soon as we are doing the formula, we have tried to solve a sum so that this becomes easier for us to understand. Oh, we forgot to do Fisher. Yes. Please, can we do Fisher? Yes. What will be the Fisher ideal price index? Fisher ideal price index will be how much? Will be the square root of, it is the square root of Laplace and Laplace and Paasche. Okay. So I will have square root of this into this. Yes. Yes, Swati. Okay. Fisher, Aditya saying 144.094. Yes. Excellent, Aditya. Darshan, you want me to repeat, Marshall? Okay. First, I'll explain with the theory and then we'll come to the problem. See, what is Marshall Edwards saying is that there is a disadvantage. If I take the base year, then what will happen? The advantage is that I know that the change in the price index is only due to the change in the price. Okay. So that is the case. Okay. But what happens with the advantage of the Paasche? Paasche is using the current quantities. So that is a reflection of the buying patterns currently. Okay. So that Marshall index says that, okay, Marshall Edward index says that we will use both. So we will use the average. Okay. So actually what it should be, this should be Q1. We say that when I'm talking about average, it should be Q1 plus Qn plus Q0 upon 2, right? Average quantity if I want to find out. what is the quantity, average quantity, it is equal to Qn plus Q0 upon 2. But in the numerator also I have the same, in the denominator also I have the same. So we remove the 2, it is simply taken as Pn, that is the current price into the average quantity divided by the base price with the average quantity. Okay, and so this into 100 is giving you the answer. So this is your Marshall-Edwards. So this is here as far as the theory is concerned. And when I'm trying to solve the sum, so what do I do here? Okay, here for Marshall-Edwards, these 3 columns are important. So what I did first is I have first added the 2 quantities. Okay, so Q0 plus Q1. So I've added the quantities. Now to this added quantities, I'm multiplying what P1 means, what current price. I'm multiplying to this addition, and then I'm multiplying the base price and adding them. Okay, so once I do that, I have got P1 into Q0 plus Q1 and P0 into Q0 plus Q1, and simply I have to divide this 2 with 3. Okay, this is simply Marshall-Edwards is 2 divided by 3. Okay. So 1403 divided by 473. Okay, understood? Yes, yes, Aditya, yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now let us go back to that. So we found the Fisher also. So we have talked about, see, when we are talking about weighted method, we have talked about the simple. I took an example. Okay, we gave them the weights and then we were able to find out the general index. Now we have studied the other, that is the Laspire index. Then we have studied the Paasche index, the Marshall-Edwards index, and then we have studied the Fisher. Laspire is saying that the quantities that you should take are the base year quantities. Paasche, you are saying that you must take the current year quantities. Marshall-Edwards, you say that you must take the average of the quantities. And Fisher is the geometric mean of Laspire and Paasche. See, Aditya, there is no one best method. It will depend on what other factors are there. They have to see. Okay. Depending on that, selection of a method, which index to use will depend on other factors. Okay. So you had that. Similarly, we right now, see, I told you that we have 3 types of indexes. That is the price index, the quantity index, and the value index. Here, whatever we did for price, similarly you have to do for quantity. Okay. So instead, here what we had taken in price index, we wanted to see the change in the price, right? So there we kept the quantity. Here now what will happen? We are going to change the quantity and keep the price similar. Okay. So what happens here is, in case of Laspire's quantity index, what do we have? It is summation. Same thing. Index base year prices are used as weights. Okay. Base year prices. So we are going to take P0. What happened in price index? We took the quantity Q0. Okay, same quantity. In quantity index, we are taking the price as same. Okay, price of the base year we are going to take in both the numerator as well as denominator. So last pair in price quantity index is summation Qn P0 divided by summation P0 Q0. Okay. So if you want to compare, so denominator is same, but here you had summation Pn Qn, but now what you have? You have summation Qn P0. Okay. So that is the last pair's quantity index. Paasche's quantity index is what? Paasche is saying what? Now what should I do? Now what should I do? I should use the current prices. Paasche use the base year prices as a weight, and last pair use the base year prices as weight. Now Paasche is saying use the current year prices as base. Okay, so this is Pn Qn upon Q0 Pn. Okay, so this is the case. And then Fisher, it is going to be Qn P0 into Pn Qn upon P0 Q0 into Q0 Pn. Okay, so same thing with the quantity index, so that you are able to do the same thing in like when I'm trying to find the price index. What happened? Last pair says that use the current quantity, use the base year quantity. Last pair says use the base year quantity. When I'm trying to find the quantity index, I should use the base year price. Okay, for last pair. For Paasche, when I'm finding the price index, I should use the current year quantity. But when I'm using the price, the quantity index, I have to use the current price. Okay. So as you can appreciate, this is Pn is common both in the numerator and the denominator. But I cannot cancel because I have the summation sign. So I have to first find the sum and then I have to divide. Okay. Then we have, what is very interesting is the chain index numbers. What happens in this up till now was we took a base year and we took a current year, right? Suppose base year is 1950 and current year is 2023. Now comparing current year's quantity with the base year that is so far away becomes very illogical. Okay, situations are different, etc., etc. So what we do is we use the chain index number. Chain index number compares the current price or current quantity or current item with the immediately previous year. Okay. For that, we calculate what are known as link relatives of the current year. So link relative of the current year into chain index of the previous year. So we are forming a chain. Last year, then this year, and then when we move forward, this year, current year becomes the last year, and so on. So we are linking all the year's data that we have, and then we are finding the index. Okay. So chain index is equal to link relative of current year into chain index of previous year upon 100. So first thing you should calculate is the link relative. So what is link relative? It is the current year prices upon the previous year prices. Okay, Pn up minus Pn minus 1. Okay, so it is not 0, it is n minus 1 as such. Okay, so because we're comparing, or you can write P0 also, that is that P0 keeps on changing and Pn also keeps on changing. Okay, and into 100. So this is from the book. Have you understood till now? Yes, Ardhendu, we will do that later. Don't get worried. Okay. Yes, Pramod, understood? Don't worry, Ardhendu. In the next session, I will also take the MCQs that are that are there in the exercise. Okay, so I will solve those MCQ also. So there, whatever we have studied today, we will know whether or not we have understood it properly or not. Okay. So now we will use the chain here. The first thing I must do is find the okay, so in the book, I think that's what I wanted to see. They have given 10 years data, 1991 to 2000. Okay, we don't need to so much for practicing. We will be maybe given 4 to 5. And then because the important thing is whether or not you've understood how to calculate. Okay, so now what is happening here is 1990, this is given as 50. So the first year, okay, the first year, you keep both the link relative as 100 and the chain relative as 100. Okay. So you keep both the year as 100. Now what I do is link. So in link, I compare the current price with the earlier price. Okay. Immediately earlier. So what is current price? 60. What is immediately earlier? 50. So 60 upon 50 into 100. Which is how much? 6 upon 5, 120. Okay. Then what I do, I now compare this current price, that is the current price of the 1993 with 1992. So this is 62 upon 60 into 100. So you can tell me that value. Then 65 upon 62 into 100. And then 70 upon 65 into 100. Okay. Can I get those values? Yes, Samina understood. Good, Surya Kumari. Pramod, no, mathematics portion is over now, maths and stats. Okay, so you don't see me in March. Day after tomorrow will be my last session with you. Okay, so 120, then Pramod is saying 103.33. Then how much is this? 104.8. And last is how much? 107.669. So it is 107.7. Okay. Okay, Samina, take up to 2 decimal places and then you can convert this to single decimal. Okay, yes. Now what does the chain relative formula say? Chain relative says that link relative of current year into chain index of previous year. Okay. So what is the link index of current year? 120. What is the chain index of previous year? 100. Upon how much? 100. So what will be there for the current year? Chain index for 1992, it will be 120. So similarly, can you calculate for the other? What will be for the next year? Link relative of the current, this is 103.3. into chain index of the earlier year, 120 upon 100. Next year is link relative is 104.8 into what is this value I will get upon 100. So how much is 103? And here it will be 107.70. So remember, be very careful. If the first figure by mistake you make a mistake in that, the whole of your chain relative will get badly affected. Okay. 120, then Swati is saying 103.3. 104.8. 124. Oh, that's what I thought. Let me check. 103.3 into 120 divided by 100. 123.96. Yes, Pramod. 123.96. You can like, and it's okay if you go up to round it off or up to one place. That's okay. Then how much is this? Now this 104.8 should be multiplied by this 123.96 and then you have to divide by 100. So how much will that be? Into 104.4.8 divided by 100. 129.28. Vadekar, 129.9. How you got? Surya Kumari also has got 129. Yes, let me check. 104.8 into 123.96 equal to this 129. Oh, sorry. Yes, 129.91. Then this I have to multiply here. 107.70 into 129.91 upon 100 is equal to how much? Divided by 100 is this into 107.7. 139.91. Aditya, you're saying last two is 130 and 140. 129 and then 139.91. Okay. 139.91. Okay. So you can see in this chain relative is that every year there has been an increase. So in the first year you can see that the values have changed from 120 from 100 to 120. Then there has been a small rise from 120 to 123. Then you have a little bit bigger rise and then a even bigger rise. Okay, so you just looking at the chain relatives also you will be able to get an answer. Okay, so we talked about the price indices, we talked about the quantity indices, and same will happen with the value indices. But in value indices, because you're multiplying it together, so here you have simple value index is simple. Find the current price, multiply with the current quantity and add them up. Then divide it by, take the base year price, multiply the base year quantity and then find the summation. And then when you divide that, you will get the valuation index. Okay, then you'll get the valuation index. Some important theory part is deflating. So time series using index numbers, deflating time series. Deflation is the process of removing the effect of price inflation from the data. Interest on deposit, weekly wages. So we don't want that. We just want the deflated amount. So deflated value will be the current value upon price index of the current year. Okay, so that will give me the present value. Okay, then shifting. So what happens in this is, suppose like we have been taking 100 as the base, but now we can see that 100 is a very historical cost. It now, due to certain changes, like because for example the oil prices have increased, the maida prices have increased. Just yesterday maida has increased. So now they are saying samosas will be now, samosas and kachoris will be very costly now. Okay. So we then don't want to keep the old value. Now we want to shift to the current, something which will reflect more on the current value. So in that case, we use the technique what is called as shifting, which is the original price index upon the price index of the year to which it has shifted. Okay. So we do that and we get the shifting. Splicing is when there is a major change in the quantity weights, two sets of price index covering two different times periods. Splicing is done. Okay, so where we have two different price index, so what we do, we end the first series and then we begin the new series. So that is known as splicing. So forward splicing, if all the index numbers are calculated using the new base year, that is forward splicing. But backward splicing is if all the index numbers are calculated using the old base year. Okay. So this theory you should know, because you may need it to tick mark. Actual sums on this we will be doing next time. So we will be doing one comprehensive sum. Then we will be doing a sum on deflation and splicing. We will be doing that. Okay. And whatever theory questions are there in the exercise, okay, I will take up as much as possible with next time. Okay. So that's all from today from my side. I know while listening to it, it is looks like a bit heavy, but when you start solving the problems, you don't have to mark up the formula. You simply have to remember that when I'm talking of Laplace, I must use the base year quantity. When I'm talking about Paasche, I should use the current year quantity. When I'm talking about Marshall-Edwards, I must use the average. Okay, so these small things, if you remember, you'll be able to solve the sums. Yes, see, Aditya, whether you will answer in the rounded or you will use decimal will depend on the options that is there in the question paper. There is no thumb rule. Okay, if they are using fractions, then use that. If they're using whole numbers rounded off, then use that. Okay, so long as you get the correct answer. Yes, Pramod, you've written, thank you so much, ma'am, for spending your valuable time with us. Love and respect you. Yes, Pramod, even I love and respect all of you. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead. Okay. Vinuji?